Yes, welcome you back here, students. So today I am going to take a topic which is revival of drama, and this is a topic which is very important in the sense that all the English literature students must be reading the history of English literature right from Anglo-Saxon period to the postmodern. Or when you reach to the modern age, and when the sections are divided, prose, poetry, drama, fiction. So once you come to the drama, you have to know that how this drama revived, in which age? In the modern age. And here I am going to make you study right from the Burnet Shaw and Galsworthy. And the entire section of this complete area is very dynamic and very full of knowledge in the point of view that the students who are literature lovers, they may be benefited a lot. And always remember, students, these lectures I am making for you daily so that the students who have the fear of joining the online live classes may get out of that fear, and they may be able to understand that how beautiful it is, how worthy it is, and how knowledgeable it is, and how they can cope up with any course sitting at their home, at a very cozy corner at their home. So for the new students who are watching me for the first time, I am Dr. Anurag Agarwal, Professor in English, and this is OSN Academy of English since 1998. And on my left hand screen, there is a computer where the messages are coming, and I hope that students who have any difficulty, who want to talk to me regarding any of your guidance, regarding UGC NET, PGT, TGT, IS, they may be benefited here. Anishu, good evening sir, good evening. And I am just trying to continue the class, and we will talk in the midway also. Yes, students. So coming back to the revival of drama, if we talk about the first half of the 19th century, like the 18th century, it was completely barren. From which point of view, students? From the dramatic point of view, if we locate the first half of the 19th century, like the 18th century, was almost completely barren. Most of the major poets who had tried their hands at drama but could not achieve that level of success, and the greater part of their work actually never came up to the stage. And yes, the professional theatre or the professional stage of that period was at a very low state. And if I talk about the respectable middle class, it was despised as a place of vice, means that this was not taken good in that society, and audiences did nothing to raise the standard of the drama, and that is why it remained deplorably low. And the popular forms of drama of the day were, किस प्रकार के ड्रामा पॉपुलर थे उस समय? It was melodrama, it was farces, it was sentimental comedies, and these things actually had no literary qualities. They were poor in dialogues, and they were actually negligible in the characterization. And they only relied their success. How? About with lot of actions, lot of sensations, and even a spectacle. Then after towards the middle of the 19th century, what happened? Amar Bahadur Yadav, good evening. Yeah, good evening students. अगर हम 19th century के middle में आ जाएं, then we again saw the revival of drama. And there was a writer of comedies known as T.W. Robertson. And T.W. Robertson, he basically known for the comedies, who introduced in his plays the idea of a serious theme. And that idea of a serious theme underlying the humor and the characters and the dialogues of a more natural kind. He is basically inseparable, or you can say inseparably connected with the modern revival of the English drama. And there is a term I will write down here on the board, the new drama of ideas. The new drama of ideas. So what is this new drama of ideas? Basically, the influence of Ibsen was very strongly felt, and Shaw produced his first plays that the necessary impetus was there to use the serious drama for a consideration of social, domestic or personal problems. And the themes of drama became the problems of religion. It became the problems of youth and age, of labor and capital. And above all, now that Ibsen had turned down the veil which had kept the subject in safe obscurity of sex. And in the history of the realistic drama, I have told you 2-3 names: Ibsen, Shaw, Galsworthy, and Granville Barker. They were of paramount importance. And yes, they did much to create a tradition of natural dialogues. We can say that, to begin with, the concern was primarily with the upper classes, and the problems, except in Shaw, it was handled very discreetly, but gradually it turned to the other social levels and became more daring in its themes. The weakness of the new drama of ideas, realistic, was its lack of anything to the fire of imagination, and it lacked poetry in the true sense. And the greatest danger was that it might degenerate into mere social photography. And the greatest dramatist, like Shaw and Galsworthy, could rise above these limitations. And you must not forget, students, that there was a great contribution of Irish theatre. And the most important of the theatrical developments outside London was the creation of the Irish National Theatre in Dublin. And the idea of the national drama was born in the mind of, yes, W.B. Yeats and even some of his contemporaries. And don't forget, in 1904 was constructed the Abbey Theatre in Dublin, of which W.B. Yeats, Synge and Lady Gregory were directors. And of the dramatists who wrote for this theatre, Yeats and Synge looked on a drama as a thing of emotions, and reacting against realism, sought their themes among the legends, folklore, and even the peasantry of Ireland. And if we talk about their drama, we have poetry in their truest sense. If we talk about drama in the hands of Synge and Lady Gregory, they developed a new comedy. And Lady Gregory's plays were published as 7 short plays, and even Irish folk history plays, 3 wonder plays, and 3 last plays. And a lot of foreign influences also brought a revival of drama. And the most important influence was no other than but the Norwegian dramatist Henrik Ibsen, whose work became known in England about somewhere around 1890. And it gave an enormous impetus to the realist movement. And Ibsen may claim credit for extending the scope of the modern dramatist. And there is no doubt about it, students, that Ibsen's influence was rather late in coming to England, but with the passing of time, slowly what happened that with the passing of time, the treatment of the themes of Ibsen and his technological methods came to be fully accepted, and a new spirit and a new enthusiasm overtook the English drama in the years, or you can say in the early years of the present century. Then we have, you can say, English drama can be broadly divided into two categories when in the 20th century. सबसे पहले there is naturalistic prose drama. Naturalistic prose drama मतलब इंग्लिश ड्रामा को 20th सेंचुरी के दो विभागों में बांटा जा सकता है. पहला, that there is naturalistic prose drama dealing with the contemporary social problems, and these social problems also focusing attention on them, discussing from various quarters, various angles, and in this way provoking thought and discussions and a lot of impetus on these problems. Fine. Shaw, Galsworthy are the chief prominents of this realistic, naturalistic prose drama. Fine. Then there is a terminology in the second, जो पहला है, ये पहला मैंने बताया, और दूसरा है बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट ये पॉइंट है, बहुत सारे क्वेश्चंस इसमें से पूछे जाते हैं इंटरव्यूज वगैरह में भी. प्लीज लेक्चर ऑन कंट्रीब्यूशन ऑफ गाल्सवर्थी लिटरेचर, वही कर रहा है बेटा अमर बहादुर यादव. द सेम लेक्चर आई एम डूइंग. Poetic drama, and yes, as I told you students, that these lectures are just to make you come out of that fear, to make you understand the validity and the value of online classes, and the students who are joining Pan India to my classes of UGC NET or IS Mains or PGT, they are studying hard, they are getting the classes daily, and they are completing the entire course of UGC NET and other exams too. So that is basically I teach chronological and the entire world of literature according to the syllabus. So those students who wish to be a part, they can call me, they can WhatsApp me, and they can be a part of OSN Academy and my classes. Rekha Prasad, good evening Rekha. So yes, the second significant development in the 20th century drama is what, students? Is the revival of poetic drama. And if you go back, we have found that there were a lot of efforts done by the Victorian poets. In spite or despite the efforts of the major Victorian poets in the past, there was no tradition of poetic drama in the beginning of the 20th century. And if we talk about 1920s, we saw some kind of birth or rebirth taking place. But the entire atmosphere was very realistic. And because the atmosphere which was realistic, naturalistic drama was uncongenial to a play in verse. So, at the Abbey Theatre, Dublin, W.B. Yeats tried his best to revive poetry on the stage, but he actually lacked that essential qualities of being a dramatist. If I talk about some of the important figure in the history of poetic drama, so the name you should remember is Stephen Phillips. Stephen Phillips is a more important figure in the history of poetic drama, who wrote a number of blank verse plays. And what are the names of these blank verse plays? Herod, Herod. Then Ulysses was written by Stephen Phillips. Then there was a play known as The Son of David, and even Nero, Nero. But they had very less appeal for getting them popular. Then there was a dramatist known as Masefield. आपने नाम सुना होगा, Masefield. He also experimented a lot in poetic drama, but to a very limited excess or success. And there was a dramatist, Gordon Bottomley, Gordon Gordon Bottomley, Bottomley, and who wrote a lot of powerful poetical plays. And it was also during this period that a dramatist, John Drinkwater, you must have heard the name or have studied even, John Drinkwater. And he also began his career with poetic drama and achieved a lot of popularity with plays like The God of Quiet, The Storm, The Night of the Trojan War. But no, the poetic drama or the true poetic drama was that of James Synge. Though he did not write in verse, he had all the qualities which the others lacked. So, this was a nutshell, students, about the revival of drama in the modern age. And this nutshell summary, if you will again listen to this, you will actually understand that if you have to study anything, you have to make a background of that. So this was the revival of the drama in the modern age. And suppose if you are in my class, students, then I teach the entirety of the entire course with George Bernard Shaw as a poet, as a dramatist, as a novelist, as everybody, जो भी जिस author का जो portfolio है, जैसे जॉर्ज बर्नार्ड शॉ जो हैं, he is one of the greatest dramatists after Shakespeare, जिन्होंने आर्म्स एंड द मैन लिखा, मैन एंड सुपरमैन लिखा, सेंट जॉन लिखा, कैंडिडा लिखा, देन सीजर एंड क्लियोपैट्रा लिखा, द एप्पल कार्ट लिखा. There have been many plays by George Bernard Shaw. I am just taking the few names. So इसका बहुत सारा डिटेल्स पूरा आपको क्लास में पढ़ाया जाता है. So this is to show students that if you love to be a part of English literature, to inculcate your knowledge to that level of proficiency and be a very technical hand in literature, that if somebody asks you any questions, you are always all the time ready. Fine. So these are the things which accordingly you have to study, and you don't get in proper books and you don't get proper classes everywhere in the coaching centers. So it is very good that you just sit at a cozy corner of your home and be a part of my online classes which are already ready. And if I talk about John Galsworthy, yes, he was also one of the most prominent artists, prominent dramatist, and who also discussed a lot of problems of modern life, and his plays are so many pieces of criticism of contemporary life. बहुत सारे उसने पर्दे दिखाए हैं contemporary समकालीन जिंदगी की. उसकी प्ले ले लीजिए आप, Justice, Strife, Silver Box, Loyalties, The Mob, The Eldest Son, and all these great plays focus attention on some of the problem or other. इन्हीं के प्लेस में वो नाम आया है स्टूडेंट जिसको कहते हैं प्रॉब्लम प्लेस. बेसिकली सोशल क्रिटिसिज्म है ये. Why? Because Galsworthy is that critic and the interpreter of contemporary English life. And in his plays we find the problems of marriage, problems of sex relationships, labor disputes, administration problems, solitary confinement, caste prejudices, etc. And these all social problems are created or treated by Galsworthy in the context of society and social and human relationships. Fine. So उसमें उसकी एक point आता है उसका realism का, क्योंकि he has depicted the contemporary society and its problems in a very realistic and a very penetrating manner. And yes, he is also a great thought-provoking writer. Thought-provoking. So with this, students, I end my speech, and I hope that you will take all the benefits from OSN Academy. If you are an English literature scholar, and if you like, you can be a part of OSN Academy whenever as you wish for your course. Thank you so much, students.